Hey guys, back at it with another roulette strategy to put against a survival test. This test was created in a longer format to highlight the potential pros and cons of a strategy, weeding out the good ones from the bad ones. Then as a community, we modify and refine the good ones to make them even better. If it survives that process, we can then program it into the new Viper Strategies software on my other channel. Link to the channel will be in the description below if that's something that interests you. On this test, every strategy will get a fair shake at 90 spins. That equates to about an hour and a half of live playing time in the casino. So there will not be a time limit. We are going to play out all 90 spins or until the system fails. All results are unedited. All videos are posted, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Every system will receive a grade on performance that's posted at the end of each video. And if you are new to the channel and want to join us on the quest to finding the best, subscribe now and hit that notification bell to stay up to date, because it won't hurt you none, but it might help you some. Hey guys, we are back at it with round two. This is a modification of Up and Go, the one that was just previously released. I did make a modification to this one. I think it's going to work out better. I did stretch out that progression to 10 levels. The previous one was at 8 levels. Total bankroll for this one's going to be 1,600. I highly doubt we're going to need all that bankroll. The coverage is so large on this, I expect it to perform well. So I did drop the unit size. So let's go ahead and just jump right into it. I dropped down that unit size for those dozens down to $5. Okay. And then so now let's go ahead and place our bets. Let's look over at the board and see what hit last. I'm going to follow the last 2 dozens to hit. So that's what's going to make me decide on where I'm going to place my bets. So I'm going $5 here, and then the previous dozen before that one was 31 that hit, so $5 here. So base level bet is $10. We are going to track our highs, our lows. This one's going to get 45 spins. If this turns out, whatever one turns out better, we're going to run that. So spin 1, lost 1, we're minus 10. Okay, so let's go 5 to 10, 5 to 10. These are the last 2 dozens to hit. And now we're going to go ahead and throw in and set up streets. This is what I'm going to change a little bit. I'm going to do some overlapping double streets. All right. So you can see that center double street's going to pay out the best. So that's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to keep it very straightforward and follow this progression. Let's spin and see what we get. We get a 17 black. That's a good number. And we hit that overlap. So we are back. Well, we are in, this is actually first session profit at $6. So back to base we go. And we'll keep our bets right here. All right, we get a 12 red, and 12 red is a win. So we're going to keep our bet here. Spin again. New session highs at 11, and another win. This is what we like. We like that winning gravy train. So repeat. Again, this is going to be a negative progression. So we're waiting for losses to progress up in the strategy to move our bets higher. Okay, new session profits at $21. Spin and see what we get. And I do like to follow the last 2 dozens to hit, because I see that there's a lot of streaks that happen. So we got a loss right there. So we're going to adjust our bets. We are going to go 10 here, just adding another unit at this point on the dozens. And then after your first loss, that's when you pepper in your overlapping double streets. So this one does have slightly higher bankroll, but that's because I extended it out to 2 more levels of progression. And you can see right there, we got a hit, and it wasn't on an overlap, but it paid out what I have on that dozen, which is 10. So we are back to session profit. Let's hold our bet here. Let's see if we could grab another win before we reset. I'm going to set the rule to reset in a new session profit. Again, you can play this however you want. I'm just trying to make some gains right here. So we are up 31. So back to base we go. We'll keep our bets right there on those same 2 dozens. since those are the last two to hit. New session profits at 31. And we got another miss. All right, so we're going to go 10 here, 10 here. And we're going dollars on 3. And you can still play the streets. Again, this channel is all about testing. So we're just testing out different ideas. If they pan out well, then we can make the modifications and slowly tweak it into something better. All right, there is another loss. So we're going to go 15 here, 15 here. And now we're going to go 2 on each. All right, $42 total bet. This is spin number 10. Let's see what we get here. And we get a 5 red. Is that an overlap? It sure is. And we are up to 22, but remember our session high is 31. Now it would probably be, this is another modification idea I had, but I'm going to just write it out like this to show you guys. But you can see we are only down $9 from our previous high. It would be a smarter decision to drop your bet back down maybe 1 level because you don't need as much. But let's go ahead and just write it out like this and spin again. I just want to keep these modifications tight. That way we have a good baseline. And you can see right there, we got another hit. So we are in a new session high of $37. So back to base and keep it safe. We're going to go here and here, following those last 2 dozens to hit. Very easy to follow. The progression will be pinned in the comments below. $42 is our new session high. And 32 red comes up and there's another hit. And I do like following these last 2 dozens to hit. Because the misses, although they do happen, they don't continuously miss like that. Not in that pattern. That's an unlikely pattern for it to continue to miss in, because it'd basically be hitting that uncovered dozen. You know, I don't see it happening 3-4 times in a row, realistically. So we are in a new session profit. We are on a winning train. So new session high is at 57. And there's a 26 black, and there's another win. I know some people like to stay stagnant. Some like to play longest to hit on the dozens. I like to ride streaks. I see, you know, I know the law of averages. So we want again, let's rebet. The law of averages, everything balance out eventually, but we're not on the table long enough for that. So that's why I like to ride hot streaks. Because it could happen with colors, it could happen with dozens. You see it all the time. And you can see it right here. How many wins in a row is that? That's what, one? That's a lot of wins in a row. I don't want to count it. I'm just going to keep playing it and counting the spins. We are at a new session high of $77. And no real stress to this strategy so far. But again, you can look at this and, oh, okay, maybe you're getting lucky numbers. But again, I like playing like this. It's been beneficial to me in the past. This is spin number 20. And finally, we got a loss. Let's keep track of our high. We were at 82. When a 0 comes up, keep the bet there. Act like it didn't happen, other than you have to increase your bet size, right? But you're not going to change where you place the bets because that empty number, or that empty dozen, didn't pop up. A green number popped up. So let's go ahead and throw down our dollar bets, overlapping double streets. And we get a 12 red, and a 12 red is a win. That's $10. We are back at session profit. So let's hold our bet here and spin again. One more hit and we could reset. And we got a loss right there. So that was, so we are going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We're at a $15 total bet each dozen. Now we're going to 2 units on the overlapping double streets. All right, let's see what we get here. All right, another complete whack. So we're going to rebet, and from 15, we're going to bump it up to 25. Now we're going to go and add just $1 more on the overlaps and spin again. And 8 black comes up. That's a nice $43 return. We are back up 57. Keep in mind, we were at 82. So let's hold our bet here and spin again. We're at spin 25. And we get a 32 red. 32 red is a miss. We were at a $25 bet right there. So we are going to cover the last 2 hit. And we're going 35. And then we're going 35 down here. And then now we are going to go I think that's right. 35. Let me see. Oh no, these overlaps are at 4 right now. Okay. Let's spin. We need a win. We did hit our lowest point so far at -11. And it keeps missing on us. So now we go and we put 5 like that. And then now from 35, we're going to 50. And now we are creeping up in that progression. And we're going to need some hits right here because we just dropped down -105. And of course, another loss. So from 50, we're going to 75. 1, 2. Oops, let me use different chips. We are going to go to 75. And we're going 75 on the center dozen. And then these go to $6. So will it come back? Can it come back? We're going to find out because now we are extremely high in the progression. Finally got a good hit. That's $111 coming back. We are still down. So let's repeat and let's spin again. It's due for a streak to start happening again. So let's see. And just like that, that's back-to-back wins. That's what we're waiting for. Another $111. So we're at 2 wins. We're almost at our break-even point, but we are not in session profit. So we're going to hold our bet here. If we could get another hit like that, we can definitely reset back to base. And we did not. We got a 30. That is uncovered. So from 75, we are going to the highest so far. We're doing $100 chips on the last 2 dozens to hit. And then now we go to 7. So we are at level 8. 1, 2. All right. Big bet. This is spin number 30. We're -199. And we got another whack right there. All right. So from 100, we have 2 levels to go before we bust. So we are going to go 100 here. Here, let's throw 150 on both. And then now we go to 8 on the double streets. All right, big bet. -441. and we get a 25 red. 25 red is $150 return. And repeat, spin again. We're going to need a few of those hits to get him back in profit. All right, that's a nice $198 return. I think one more hit and we could reset. Again, remember, we have 24 numbers covered, so we should be hitting more times than we're not. So this is really testing, can it withstand a long loss streak like it just did? It did bounce back into profit. 105 is new high, so we're going to go back to our base level bet. And that was a rough run, and you can see how quickly that did escalate, and adding those extra levels did help this out. Some of you guys mentioned in the previous video 8 levels wasn't enough, and you could see that extension for the 2 more levels gave us some more wiggle room. Okay, so back to base we go. We're gonna keep on the hot dozens, $5 each. There's a win right there. Bet stays the same. New session high is 110. All right, there's another hit. Now it's streaking for us. And when it streaks, because I think the hot streaks happen, the win streaks happen more frequent than that long losing streak happening because of the coverage. You could play around with the progression. There's a couple other mod options I have. You know, you could go like we're doing right now. You go up on loss, down on win. You could switch that up and go up on wins, down on losses, and then have a reset point. So we got a loss right there. We're going 1, 2 here, 1, 2 there. And now we pepper in those dollar double streets. You know, and another way to weather storms of those long losing streaks from happening, or just kind of create some kind of strategy where, let's say everything's going against you, right? Okay, this is a new session profit, 126. So we're going back to our base level bet. Let's back on that thought. So if everything's going against you and you're just losing, you could set a point where, like, let's say you get like 2 or 3 losses in a row. There's nothing wrong with sitting out spins. I think that's something that most people don't do. They just ride it out. And I understand that too, because on the flip side, it can hit that number that you have covered, or that wherever your bet is. But the problem is like, you could see, I didn't count how many losses in a row, but we had a lot of losses in a row, and I was just throwing the bets, and those bets increasingly got higher and higher and more uncomfortable. So to weather that storm, a good solution would just be like, just sit out 2 or 3 or whatever you decide to do. So we are on another winning streak. So let's we are spin 45. We got 5 more to go. Session highs at 141. We got a loss right there, so we are going to go 1, 2 here, and we're going to add in our overlapping double streets at this point, and let's see if we could win out. As I say that green number comes up. Perfect. Okay, so we go now we go to 15 each. These now get bumped up to $2, and let's get a hit right here. All right, I think that's a good one. That's a 16 red. It is a $27 return, 132. We're going to hold our bet here for one more spin. Our high is at 141, and we're at 132. And we got a hit, $15 hit. All right, so 147 is new session high. Best to go back to base and spin. And we get another 16 red. Repeat, spin again. This is the last spin. This is spin 45. This is the first modification I made from the original. and we finished on a win. We finished on a high note. So we did finish with $157 in profit. The thing that really stood out on this run was a couple things. We did drop down to minus 441. Again, this is a $1,600 bankroll. So for me personally, I think that's a little low of a dip, but I think adding those extra levels gave it some more wiggle room to come back, which it did, right? So that's something to keep note of. Again, you could adjust these unit sizes down some more. You could even go like probably $3 and then $1 coverage on the double streets. You could do some corner bets. Here, I want to show you something before I wrap up this video. Let's go with, let's just say we are at, I don't know, let's say we're at 25, right? 25, and then 25 would have 3 on each of the dozens, right? So let me paint this picture out real quick, because this is something I thought would be like a nice safety net. Meaning, like, let's say we're getting into like that 7th or 8th level in the progression, wherever your street bet is. So currently you could see it's at $3. So at this point, you, as a hedge, this is kind of like a hedge bet. I played around with this. Now this is going to be, if one of those numbers hits, it's going to be a partial miss, meaning it's not going to take that entire bet away from you. It's just going to take a little bit of that and would be using it as a hedge. Now they're not going to make you money with $3 on each, but they are going to hedge that. So what this does is then it makes that 36 and 33, the 25, 28, and the zeros uncovered. So that reduced it down to 6 full whacks that could, potentially happen to you. So I thought that was a cool option or modification too for those that, and let's see, that's why I wanted to spin. So right there, so we had a 40, it was minus 47 net win, right? But we had a $72 bet. So you could see how that saved us from losing all $72. Okay, so I'm kind of glad that number hit. And of course, the uncovered numbers will be full wax. But I thought that was a cool modification. Things like this is why we test on this channel, is because you can fine tune these things to make it your own. If you're less risky or you're more conservative side when you're gambling, you're going to play it a different way. Other people might continuously just put the foot on the gas because they're trying to make a lot of money in a short period of time, which that's cool. If you're like a weekend gambler, you go every so often. I understand that you want to make your time worth it. And as long as you're using a bankroll, you don't mind losing, because that's why it's called gambling, right? But people that are trying to do this and like slowly grow their bankroll want safety nets like this. They want a system, a strategy. That's why down in the description below, I will have that free PDF guide, that free video. It explains all of this stuff that I'm talking about as far as bankroll management and actually doing this. You could just do it for a little side hustle, making a little extra money. But if you're not tracking your numbers, you have no idea if you're up and down, where you're at, right? So that kind of fine tunes the way you should be resizing your bankroll, the way you should be setting up some stop losses. That way it's setting you up for success, not failure, right? So if you're interested, link will be down below. If you're interested in checking out the new channel, I am running the 10x channel, trying to turn $100 into $1,000. Link to that channel will also be down in the description below. But that's going to wrap up the video. So till next time, guys, like always, be cool, stay cool, peace.